Yeah, good day everyone and happy Saturday. I am Nkengacha Marcellus Agendia, and he is Mbejong Bazi. Yeah, actually, we are doing this video to present a very interesting issue to the public. This issue concerns our health, our life, and if we have been motivated to do this video, it is actually to present a certain worry that we found. We just watched a certain video on our WhatsApp account, and this video was forwarded to us by a friend, and they were trying to notify the public to be careful on using Thermos flask, the common flask that we use in our homes to keep water warm. Most of us we found such flask in restaurants, and they use it to serve us tea or warm water. Not to go too far, this is a Thermos flask. Here is a Thermos flask, and that video was drawing our attention to a certain element. They call it tablet on the wall of that is found on the wall of flask, and they said that tablet is a poisonous tablet. There are 3 of them found evenly on the walls of Thermos flask. They said the tablets are actually poisonous, that they're a kind of poison that Chinese have put in the walls of flask for us to be maybe contacting illness or diseases. So here I will open to show so that we see. If you can actually open the flask from the bottom, and when you open, we can actually bring out the inner part of the flask. And here, this is what the video was saying. Here you see something like a tablet. I hope we are seeing it very well. This is just one. Here, horizontally, you rotate this flask, you see the second one. And then here, you find the third one. So those are the 3. There are just 3 of them. So when I watched that video, I was so worried because I've been using this flask in the house. Though we don't use it to drink tea or to drink warm water, we use it to warm water and then for other purposes like washing the baby. So I was very worried. Then I had to get this flask and open. Then I realized that it was true. These tablets are actually there. But now when I did a bit of research on the internet, I realized that these tablets are not actually as poisonous as we think in this form. The tablets on their own, these particular elements on their own are poisonous. That's true. They are carcinogenic. It means they can actually cause cancer of the lungs, particularly. But now, in this particular form, it is not poisonous as people think, because in this form, it is well protected. I initially thought the tablet is somehow exposed on the inner wall such that it can be in contact with the water that is inside the flask. But truly speaking, looking at it very well, just as it is sealed. I advise that if you have a flask, you should try to get it out and see what I'm actually saying. This tablet is found only on the inner part, in the inner part of the flask, of the wall. You know, a flask like this has a vacuum. There is the outer layer, and then there is the inner layer, and the two layers are separated. The space in between the two layers of the two walls of the flask is called a vacuum, means it contains no air. Because as we know, heat will be transmitted from the inner part only through air particles. So if air is not present, if the space is a vacuum without any air, heat will not be transmitted, or there will be no transfer of heat from the inner to the outer part. So this particular element is found here to maintain that space, right? To maintain the space, that so much so that the two walls of the flask, the outer and the inner walls, do not come in contact, and so losing the space. Now, why is this element? Now, but before then, I want to emphasize that when I watched that video, I was expecting to see, okay, I will see if this tablet is actually exposed and comes in contact regularly with water, because for it to be poisonous, it has to be able to come in contact with the water that's inside here, so that with time it mixes up, it dissolves in the water, and then we drink it, then it will cause us cancer. But then when I'm looking very well at the inner part of the flask, we realize that it is as well very much protected, covering this particular so-called tablet, so much so that the inner wall is on top of this tablet, protecting the tablet from coming in contact with the water. So the tablet might be as dangerous as we think on its own, but incorporated here, it is not poisonous because it has no contact with water. That is the first major point I am doing this video to make, so that people do not have a misconception of flask. Now, the second part of this video is to lead us into understanding of what this tablet itself is. This tablet is a chemical element, is found naturally, is naturally occurring, and it is called asbestos. Right? Asbestos is found in, it is used in the world today in so many domains, in industries, in automobiles, and so on and so forth, to do so many other things that we do use. And asbestos it is one of those chemicals that has very high heat resisting property. That means it is capable of resisting heat, and it is that particular property that has brought me to the understand why it is asbestos that is chosen to be used in flask to create this vacuum. It is highly resistant, means that its form cannot be altered by heat. So it is heat resistant. It has a very high thermal stability. It remains stable with very high heat capacity. So that is why it is chosen to be used. Now, I want to use this opportunity to also give caution to those that are thinking that this particular element, tablet, asbestos, is intentionally fitted in here by Chinese to maybe cause people to be exposed to diseases. That it is true, asbestos is carcinogenic. It means that it can actually, it has that potential of exposing us to cancer. But then we should understand that we can only be exposed to this asbestos by inhaling. Maybe the air is coming from it when it is exposed. And so these people doing the video, on they are doing this video to caution people against flasks. They actually, the video I watch, they actually break off their flask with a hammer to present this tablet to people. But it is by so doing that they can expose themselves to asbestos, because they will inhale it and they will run that, they will they might actually be, that is when the asbestos can actually get into them and cause them to have this cancer. So don't even break it, because it is well fitted in the wall of this flask and it is not dangerous as long as the flask, this flask is not broken. It becomes a potential danger to the society, to the environment, only when it is broken and the asbestos is exposed. So if I did this video, it was to present this particular aspect to us, so that we know the kind of information that we receive and we know how to interpret it. The world today has been made so easy that when you get a piece of information, you try to do a bit of research on it to be able to know what that information is all about. For instance, you just go to the internet now and you search for the properties of asbestos, or what in is that particular element asbestos. You will see why it is used in flask. And so please do not be afraid. Your flask is not as dangerous as people might have been saying. Thank you very much. We hope that this short video was interesting, and you can always refer to us, or come back to us for any questions. We'll be happy to do a bit of research and answer you. Thank you very much. I am Nkengecha Marcelo Sagendia, and I am a health personnel. I'm a medical laboratory scientist, and thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.